Hello, everyone. I wanted to make a video about a few more things that I feel like I didn't really touch base on my last video about how much God thinks about how we treat others. If you look at like the Ten Commandments, and I've gone over this in previous videos, how the Ten Commandments is basically how to love one another, how to love God, and how to do right by others. It's all about love. And I also wanted to talk about how the closer you get to God, the more you become like a child of God, and what that really looks like. Because um, I started to notice it about a year ago, that when the more I would get convicted by the Holy Spirit, it was kind of like um, the Father telling me, no, don't do that, or get correcting me each time I would do something or whatever. And how I had to, like, how like when you tell a little kid to do something, they might have an attitude or grumble under their breath or not want to do it or go and complain or whine, you know. Well, that's basically what happens with us, because you have to battle your flesh, you have to battle your own desires, and you have to um, somehow get yourself to do what he's saying, and because obviously if he corrected me, that's not what I would have done. Right? So but God has really been showing me how much he cares about how we treat others. And I'm telling you, I really have felt like a little kid, because God's been showing me, like, I've been trying to learn how to talk to others better, how to like, I feel like my heart is better towards others, but I'm still like, it doesn't come out of my mouth right, because I notice that something will come out of my mouth and then I'll see the other person's reaction. God's been showing me this a lot, and it didn't come out right, and I still haven't conquered this. Like, I tend to not say enough words, I guess, when I speak, and so it comes out very short, very, like, not caring, or maybe the tone of my voice isn't right. And stop it. Get down. Anyways, my cat is being bad. Um so I but God has been showing me how much he cares, because he corrects me all the time. And you don't realize, cuz before you start walking with Jesus, you don't realize how much we are like we think that we're adults, and we think that we love others, and that we care about others, and that we talk right to others. And it's not until you start following Jesus that you realize, man, I still act like a little kid. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like a little kid. And I don't think that's going to go away, because that's what following Jesus is. And it also reminded me of how, we're going to be adopted into God's family. And, most of you who know my story, if you know my story, I was taken away from my mom at 5. And I have a twin sister, and we were both taken away. And then we were adopted at 6 years old. My mother was an alcoholic and used meth or whatever. And she was facing prison time, and just having issues with CPS. And anyway, she had asked us, how we felt about living with another family. And we had already been in a couple foster homes, and I was like, sure, I'll go stay at another. I thought it was like going to be a month thing, and then we were going to come home. I had no idea. And this was really heartbreaking when I was a child. But after we did end up getting adopted, I felt really bad, and I wanted to always tell my mother that's not what I meant. because I told her I wanted to live with another family. And my sister said, um, well, I just want to be with Sarah. And anyways, I, for 14 years, wanted to find my mother just to tell her that's not what I meant, because I felt bad. I could feel the pain that would cause to a mother. And but what I was trying to point out is that, we're becoming as children of God, and, you might have to, basically what we're doing here is we're trying out God, or God's, letting you see if you make a decision whether you want to be in his family or not, and um, I guess I'm going to have to get up and get this cat to stop. Okay. Anyways, so because God's not going to force anybody to, you know, be a part of his family or to be part of his life, he's not going to force anybody. And so, I want you guys to know that, basically what we're doing here is becoming children of God. And that's what following God is you're becoming the child of God. And, so take a look at yourself, and, because if you think that you're an adult and you're fine and you don't need advice or anything like that, and you're not in need of a father figure, or somebody to teach you, um, you know you're in a world of danger, because the truth is like, because I was like that too, where I thought I was doing good. I was a good person. I loved others and I did for others. But it wasn't until I started following Jesus that I realized that how how uh, how much I needed to work on. I've been following Jesus for, I mean, like, strongly following him for at least 10 years, or so, and I still haven't conquered, how to speak to others right. And you know some of it's just basics, because we got to say please and thank you. And my cat's a lunatic. Okay. Say please and thank you, and have common courtesy, and even for God, because at one point I used to pray just laying down in bed, and I think I watched somebody else's video, and they were talking about how you needed to pray on your knees, and the reason and the importance of praying on your knees. You got to have a reverence for God. You got to have a fear of God, and just uh, a fear of the Lord, and because your prayer life will improve. And I'm sorry, guys, I didn't realize my cat was going to run around like crazy. But anyways, she's just having a great old time over here. Um, but anyways, so uh, I just wanted to make awareness of the fact that we have to, have, even when it comes to, like, um, women talk back a lot in today's society. Men don't treat their wives right. They don't have respect for their wives. They don't, um, you know, I think a lot of this, I mean, I'm sure it happened before that, but I'd say around the 1960 things started to really go downhill, as far as, just think about every year, how every year has gone by and something is now okay. I remember back, when you couldn't say cuss words in movies, for example. Um, you know, uh, Rap music wasn't allowed in certain things, and just people weren't allowed to dress certain way. Like, women couldn't wear the type of clothes that they wear now. All of these things, and we just don't realize how far we've come away from just respect in general towards other people, um, just how we carry ourselves in society, and we God looks at all of those things. He looks at our heart, and He looks at how we speak to each other, and he really is a good father. Like, he really wants us to be, that's how I see him. Like, every time he corrects me and I feel conviction in my spirit, and a lot of times people think that that's Satan. It's 100% not Satan. When you feel guilty or something after you said something a certain way, that's God just correcting you, and trying to show you where you need to work on or whatever. And anyways, I just wanted to point that out because um, I just have noticed God really working on me with my speech, how I talk to others, how I react to others. Pay attention to, your laziness, your whining, your complaining, your pointing fingers at everybody else, maybe gossiping or blaming everybody else instead of, you know, focus on how you are treating others, how you talk to others. um, you know it could be a coworker, it could be your boss. um, you know um, are you actively trying to make somebody else's day more peaceful, more enjoyable? Even if you don't like where you work, we don't have to take it out on everybody, for example. Or maybe you didn't like dinner, but you don't have to, you're stuck with the dinner regardless. Might want to have a better attitude about it. But I just noticed a lot of, like, it just seems like everything that God has been teaching me is almost like little stuff you would teach a little kid. And it's like, I feel like I should be past all of this by now, but you'd be surprised how much slips into your adult life. And so, anyways, it's that little, and a lot of times that's all it is. It's just little stuff. I mean, like, I've seen, I'm around people who act like bullies. I even have my cat that was just running around here. She's a bully to my other cat. And look at yourself. Are you being a bully? Are you trying to intimidate others, manipulate other people, to try to get your way? Are you a control freak? Oh my goodness. She is just running wild. Are you constantly trying to control everybody or have to have your way all the time? But these are the things that God's showing me. And anyways, so I just wanted to point out what it's like to be a child of God, because you know I'm almost 50. And so it's like, I'm not quite 50 yet, but it's just really strange to feel like, when you start to hear God talking to you, like sometimes I feel like I'm 5 years old and I'm being scolded by my father. But you know what? It's really special and it's really sweet, and it's actually quite a really good thing, because that just shows me that I am part of his family, and I'm his child, and he treats me as such, and that's such a beautiful thing, and I wouldn't replace it for anything in the world. And it's a love that you're not going to find anywhere else. There's nothing greater than a father. And anyways, I hope you guys feel that and experience that for yourselves. And I hope that you all, can learn some manners. Anyways, I love you all. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.